Welcome back to the 4th episode of the First Time Homebuyer series, where we're going to be doing a deeper dive into your search, the filters associated, what we look at on listings, and really how to understand this part of the process better when we're in the hunt. One of the first things I do when I craft a search is obviously I connect with the client and I listen to the criteria in depth. Now, we don't want to use too many filters because at the end of the day, there's so many realtors in this sea and this pond, and a lot of them are not that good. And they're not going to be as detailed on their listings, and they're not going to be as organized or include all the information because either they don't know or they don't care or they're lazy. Whatever you want to use to describe, they're not all made the same. So we want to be general but not too general, and we want to be specific but not too specific. So the first two boxes I always click on my Compass platform is coming soon and active, because we want to see obviously what's coming soon and what's active on the market now. I really don't care about what's contingent or what's in contract, because those deals have accepted an offer. Now, some deals do accept backup offers. That's an avenue that I think is a good approach depending on the situation, but when we're creating a fresh search, we don't want to look at that stuff just yet. Next, we want to talk about price. So if a client of mine has a budget of $400,000 and they have a large down payment, I usually will go up to $425 or $450. Now, why is that? Because at the end of the day, we have a saying in this industry, buyers are liars. The things you say at the beginning of the search may not be the same things that align at the end of the search. Things change. I'd rather show you properties and expand your perspective and your purview, and you deny them and say no thank you, then wonder about what else could be out there. I just want to show you everything that's within my reach. Next, we go through neighborhoods. Geography is important. A lot of buyers of mine are open and flexible, and I have a bunch of neighborhoods that I'll throw in there right off the bat. Everyone's different. Some buyers are more open, some buyers only want to live in a 1 block square radius, so you really want to hone in on what they want. Now, sometimes I'll offer suggestions, I'll offer different types of neighborhoods, because at the end of the day, you get different bang for buck in different parts of the city. Bedrooms and bathrooms, I like to keep usually open and flexible, because you never know what deal is going to be out there. And if you limit yourself just to the 1 bedroom, 1 bath, or the 2 bed, 2 bath, what if there's a 3 bed, 2 bath that makes sense, or maybe a 2 bed, 1.5 bath that makes sense, and your client just hasn't thought of that yet? You want to leave the options as open as possible. Now, a great way to filter on the MLS or on Compass is to use the parking feature. A lot of agents will say that there's parking available, but that doesn't necessarily always mean that's true. Maybe there's a parking spot in the building for sale, not associated. Maybe it's rented. Maybe it's next door. But at least this will distinguish locations that have some sort of parking availability and ones that have none at all. Now, that is a ton of filters in my opinion, and the only other filter that I would ever throw into the mix, maybe two, would be max monthly fees, which adds HOA, and you can include taxes or not include. And I like to include this when I'm looking at high-rise options for my clients that I know don't want to pay more than $1,000 or $1,200 a month for HOA. So I'll cap my HOA at say $1,000, and that eliminates everything that they don't want to look at. Now, I think this is a great idea, obviously, because if you're sending 300 properties to your client, they might be a little upset with you because that's a ton of work to look through. They won't end up looking through everything anyway. Don't be the agent who sends them 500 properties. I don't think it's a bad thing to send 100, because at the end of the day, if they're looking at 7 or 8 different neighborhoods, that's about what it's going to shake up to when you're looking in that $500 to $600K price point. That's where most buyers are. And as a buyer, you have to understand that when you're average, in terms of spending an average budget, you're going to be looking at a lot of different things. Now, one of the most important indicators on a listing, in my opinion, is market time. Meaning, how long has a listing been on the market for? Days on market, when was it listed? And this is going to control how much we can negotiate with a property and how aggressive we have to be. If a property has been on the market for less than 30 days, there's not going to be a ton of wiggle room in price, and I'm guessing that there's going to be a lot of other people interested. Not always, but typically yes. Once a property hits 31 days or it's approaching 45, 60, the market is saying that the price is probably not where it needs to be. This is your indication that you can come in and start negotiating and haggling a little bit. Maybe we mess with the price. Maybe we mess with the closing date. Maybe we combo and we get a closing credit concession. There's a bunch of different levers that we can pull to navigate this transaction and negotiate. But when a property was listed yesterday and there's a line out the door to see it, you better bring your best foot forward. Now, I know some agents like to filter on square footage, Personally, I see way too many agents either have misrepresented square footage, properties that don't feel like the square footage that was listed, or a ton of agents just put 0 because they don't know, or they want you to come see it because they feel like if they put 750, you're gonna be like, I think that's too small, when in reality you might walk in and it feels awesome. So I wouldn't pay too much to square footage, but when you are looking for something that's like 2,500 square feet and it says 900, it's clearly not gonna work for you. So sometimes I will put a square footage floor, but I always include any properties that have 0. Yeah, there might be a couple busters that get worked into the mix where I don't want to miss anything, because if you miss something as a real estate broker, it's the fastest way to get canned and replaced by the next Joe Schmo. Now, if you feel like I provided you with some useful information, feel free to like, subscribe, share the channel. I really would appreciate it. It helps me obviously grow my business and my social media. And tune in next time for our 5th episode where we talk about making the offer, different contingencies associated, and how I would approach different situations. See you next time.